Hi guys, it's Milena. I am back. It is Royal Rumble season and I am so thrilled to be back talking about my favorite pay-per-view of the entire year, which is the Royal Rumble. Now, last year we finally got a Women's Rumble and it looks like from every single year on now, we are getting a Women's Rumble along with a traditional Men's Rumble, and I am so here for it. I'm so excited. I think that this WrestleMania season looks to be super lit, and I am so here for it. Now, when I give my predictions on the Rumble matches, yes, I said Rumble matches. I am not doing the traditional undercard to the Rumble, even though it looks incredibly stacked and amazing, no shade at all, but my Rumble match predictions are going to be quite long for the women's and the men's Rumbles. So I have a couple of different categories to talk about in regards to my Rumble matches, not just who I think is going to win, but I want to throw out like who I think is going to begin the Rumble, who I think is going to be a dark horse sleeper picks, Iron Woman, Iron Man of the Rumble, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's jump into my 2019 Women's Royal Rumble prediction. So starting off, my Women's Rumble predictions, we're going to go with the confirmed entrants first, and then I will talk about the different categories of how I'm going to choose who I think is going to win each respective Rumble match. So the confirmed entrants are as follows. We have Carmella, who is entering as number 30 because she did win the Mixed Match Challenge 2 a few weeks ago with R-Truth. Ember Moon, Natalya, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan of the Riott Squad, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Alicia Fox, Zelina Vega, Naomi, and Mickie James. So to start off my categories for my Rumble predictions, I'm going to talk about the dark horse sleeper picks that a lot of people might be overlooking, and people who are going to really make an impact in this Rumble, even if they don't win, they're still going to look extremely strong heading into February and so on for WrestleMania season. Obviously, my dark horse picks are two women to make it fair. Ruby Riott is number one. Ruby is queen. I love Ruby so much. I have a theory that the Riott Squad should enter 1, 2, and 3 and just decimate the first third of the Rumble, looking extremely strong. I think that would be so good because the Riott Squad have been on a losing streak. The past 6 months have been nothing but a nightmare for these beautiful women, and they deserve so much better, especially because Ruby is the leader of the only female heel stable in all of WWE. So I just think it's obvious. I think the Riott Squad should definitely do well in the Rumble, especially Ruby. I think Ruby is going to dominate the Rumble, honestly. I think she's really going to have a great showing, and I think this is going to be a good way to really start off 2019 for the Riott Squad, is to dominate the first half of the Rumble, or even a third of the Rumble, whatever. I'm fine with it, as long as they look strong in this Rumble match. I think that it's well-deserved, long overdue, and they need to look like strong heels. They really do. It's so pivotal, honestly. My other sleeper dark horse pick would have to be Mandy Rose. Yes, this might come as a little bit of a surprise to you guys, but I think Mandy Rose is somebody that not only is the typical blonde bombshell, but she is so good in the ring. Yes, she can actually wrestle. So she's beauty, brains, and she's really good in the ring. I think that she's like a triple threat. So I love Mandy Rose so much. Like, I wasn't always the biggest fan of her, but the past 6 to 12 months, she really opened my eyes to how good she is in the ring, if given the chance. Now, of course, it's not necessarily her fault that she's being booked as the blonde bombshell, but she is so good in the ring if given the opportunity. And the proof of that is her NXT house shows in 2017, which you could just look on YouTube and find them. She's actually really good. I think Mandy Rose is going to have a really good showing in the Rumble. I don't think she's going to win, unfortunately. But I think that she will last like 15-20 minutes, which will be pretty good for the Women's Rumble. As I said, I think Ruby Riott is definitely the dark horse pick. She's going to last the longest, and that's going to transition into the next category. the Iron Woman of the Rumble has to go to Ruby Riott. I think Ruby Riott is definitely going to have a good Rumble showing this year, and rightfully so. I think she's paid her dues the past year that she's been on the main roster, and I would love for her to just last like 40 minutes in the Rumble. She doesn't have to necessarily win, because we all know that the women's division is really mapped out until WrestleMania, so I at least hope that Ruby has a good amount of eliminations and she lasts the longest in the Rumble, kind of just impressing not only the suits and ties, you know, the higher up of upper management in WWE, but also the WWE universe watching at home, because a lot of people I see on social media are really sleeping on Ruby's ability in the ring and her mic ability. Like, she's so good. She's like the full package. I think people are just intimidated because she looks different from the average woman, but I love her that much more because of that, you know? Like, Ruby's so cool. Definitely Ruby is my pick to last the longest in the Women's Rumble, of course. Now, on to surprises for the Women's Rumble. I'm going to start off with people who are currently signed to WWE who I think are going to be surprised in the Rumble, and then I will talk about former women's wrestlers who were employees of WWE in the past who I think will make a showing. Now, in 2018, we had a laundry list of people returning for the Rumble, and I understood why. You know, it was the first ever Women's Rumble, but I really hope we don't get as many returns this year. I'm fine with 2 former women's wrestlers returning, but not, you know, 6, 7, or 8. That's a lot. That's a lot of talent. And I feel like they could utilize more of their NXT talent for the Rumble. This isn't necessarily a surprise, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I definitely think that Nikki Cross and Lacey Evans are definitely going to make their debuts officially in the Rumble match. I'm not going to say it's a surprise because they are technically on the main roster now, so this is not counting the NXT surprises. The NXT surprises are as follows. Shayna Baszler. Yes, I definitely think Shayna Baszler is going to make her main roster debut in the Royal Rumble match. And dare I say, I think she's going to be in the final 4 of the Royal Rumble. So she's going to go a long way in that Rumble. I think she's going to last a long time in the Women's Rumble this year. And I also have to throw out Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, I could see defeating Shayna Baszler at NXT TakeOver Phoenix and having a damn good showing as well. Of course, these women are not going to win the Rumble, but I think that they both will have a great showing. Now, let's not forget about NXT's sister, which is NXT UK. I could definitely see Toni Storm debuting in the Rumble. Not being called up or anything, but I definitely think she could be in the Rumble, as well as possibly Rhea Ripley. I would love to see both women in the Rumble. I think they have to be fair and kind of divided and give a little love to the NXT UK brand, as a lot of people are still not watching it yet. And it's a pretty good brand. I mean, there's definitely some adjustments that need to be made accordingly, but I think it's pretty good for the most part. So with that being said, past WWE women's wrestlers who I could see returning, I could definitely see Candice Michelle returning, Victoria, Melina, and possibly Jillian Hall as a comical filler spot. I would love Candice Michelle out of all of these, and followed by Victoria. These 2 women are amazing. Vince's Devils was everything in 2006. So Victoria I would love to see, just because she did announce that this is going to be her final year in professional wrestling. So I think that they should throw her a bone as a thank you for all the years and the trailblazing moments that she's had for the WWE and for the women's movement. Of course, Candice Michelle is my front runner because I love her so much, and I think it's well deserved. She had an amazing TED Talk a month ago, and it really skyrocketed on the internet. So one final category before I go over who I think is actually going to win. The final category, I'm going to say honorable mentions, people to look out for in the Rumble who aren't necessarily as popular or have much of a chance as like Ruby or Mandy. I would say Ember has a decent chance. She's definitely an honorable mention. Lacey Evans is another one who is going to do well in the Rumble. And also Sonya Deville. Those 3 women I would say also look out for. I think they all have a good chance. Now, I do want to quickly mention the Iconics deserve so much better, but I don't think that they're going to have a good Rumble necessarily because of the way they're being booked. However, my Aussie Queens, I think they better. No, I don't think. I know. They better win the first ever women's tag titles of this generation at the Elimination Chamber because they deserve nothing less. I only see legends. Now, on to who I think is going to actually win the Rumble. Well, I think it's pretty obvious. I think Becky Lynch is going to come out and attack a jobber, whether it be Dana Brooke, Lana, so on and so forth. Just a girl who is obviously not going to win. And she's going to take that spot. It's going to be down to like Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and I'll throw in Mandy Rose or Ruby Riott. Just another heel. And I definitely see Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch co-winning the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble. Shades of Bret Hart and Lex Luger from '94, I believe. So I definitely see that happening because Charlotte needs to always be in the spotlight, you know? Not necessarily her fault, but I'm sure she has a lot of pull because of her family. So that's one problem that I have with WWE is that it should just be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, WrestleMania 35. That would make headlines all over the world, you know? Becky Lynch is killing it right now. She's straight fire, the man. But of course, Charlotte Flair has to insert herself into this match to make it a triple threat. Does Charlotte need to be in every single main attraction big match? No, I don't understand that. She's amazing. She's dope. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think she needs to be in every single big female match. You know, please let me know in the comments what you think of my 2019 Women's Rumble predictions. Now, onto the 2019 Men's Royal Rumble predictions. So, the Men's Rumble is, I'm actually more excited for this year because it's way more unpredictable and I love the element of surprise that the Royal Rumble bestows upon us. When it's not predictable, I feel like it's even more fun. You know, you get more crazy debuts and it's just so much more fun to watch when you don't have a good idea of who's going to win. Now, the Women's Rumble, even though I'm pro-women for life, it's a little bit more obvious who's going to win the Women's Rumble than it is the Men's Rumble. There's a couple of more different contenders who could win the Men's Rumble, and I'm so here for it. So, starting off, I am going to be listing off the confirmed entrants for the Men's Rumble as follows. John Cena, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre, Kofi Kingston, Big E, Xavier Woods. By the way, 3 of them should not be in the Rumble. I'm salty about that. That is wasting spots. Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, Elias, Jinder Mahal, Bobby Lashley, Jeff Hardy, Andrade Cien Almas, and R-Truth, who is, of course, number 30. Now, so I'm going to follow the same format for the Women's Rumble as I am with the Men's Rumble. So people who I think you should definitely start off the Rumble, I definitely think Andrade Cien Almas and Seth Rollins. Both are phenomenal athletes. Both are the future. And both will last incredibly long in the Rumble. Andrade Cien Almas is coming off of this amazing feud with Rey Mysterio, and he looks to be the victor each time they have a match, which is amazing. I love Rey so much for putting over Almas, and it's what he deserves. Almas is incredible. He is the future of the company. Paired with an amazing heel manager like Zelina by his side, he's going to skyrocket soon. 2019 is definitely going to be Almas' year. I definitely think he's going to have an incredible opening segment in the Rumble. And I don't think he's going to last the longest, of course, but I definitely think he's going to do pretty well in the Rumble. I'd say at least 15 to 20 minutes. My dark horse sleeper pick, I definitely think a Raw guy is going to win this year, as I feel they have bigger talent on Raw right now. So I am going to go with Elias as my dark horse pick. I think he's a phenomenal face and a phenomenal heel, and he has been killing it as of late. I also could see Bobby Lashley doing really well in the Rumble, as well as Rusev, but I definitely am going to say Elias is going to go really far in the Rumble, and he is my dark horse pick to win. I think he's going to kill it. He is so over. He's one of the most over wrestlers right now on the entire brand of WWE, because, of course, what does WWE stand for, guys? Walk with Elias. Legends only. Elias is going to kill it in the Rumble. He is definitely my dark horse pick. Now, my Iron Man of the Rumble is going to be Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is going to go Final Four, definitely. I would also love to see Elias be in the Final Four, but I don't necessarily see that happening. I see Elias being like Final 6 with like a half-an-hour Rumble showing, which is fine. I definitely see Lashley, like I said, doing really well as the IC champ. Rusev, again, the US champ, will have a good showing. The mid-carders will do great. So I would like to go over some NXT surprises who will be in the Rumble probably. Velveteen Dream, of course. He's not wrestling on the TakeOver prior to Rumble, so I could definitely see him making his Rumble debut, which would be everything. I could also see Ricochet because he's going to have an amazing Rumble spot, of course. I would love to see Kofi and Ricochet go at it and have an amazing Rumble spot together. I could also see Ciampa having an amazing Rumble spot as well. That pop would be everything. And of course, I have to show some love to Pete Dunne. I definitely think Pete Dunne should get a Rumble spot as he is the NXT UK champion, and it's what he deserves, let's be real. Now, to be honest with you, I'm going to give you my final prediction on who I think and who I want is going to win the 2019 Royal Rumble for the men. I think it comes down to two people, and two people only. I think these two people have really paved the way in 2018. Two men who have killed it completely in 2018. And that is Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. I think they're going to come down to the final two with the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre winning the 2019 Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre is definitely my choice to win the 2019 Royal Rumble. Let's rewind a decade ago. 10 years ago in 2009, Drew McIntyre was handpicked. Yes, handpicked as the chosen one by Vince McMahon under the tutelage of Vince McMahon. That speaks volumes. Now, his first run didn't necessarily work out for him, and that's okay because he honed his craft, he got so much better, and he made the independent scene his bitch. He got a call from WWE to get signed if he wanted to because of how good and how much of a name he made for himself on the independent scene in 2016. He came back in 2017. He completely dominated NXT for a solid 6 months in 2017, which I have a lot of respect for because he was a big name before that. He didn't have to go to NXT, but he did. He paid his dues. He made a point. 2018, he gets called up to the main roster again, to Raw, with Dolph Ziggler, which was fine. They have a cool little run together, being heels, turns on Ziggler, destroys Ziggler, which is great. It is time for Drew McIntyre to win something monumental for his career. No more stupid gimmicks, no more being underutilized. It is time for McIntyre to run through Brock Lesnar and make him his bitch at WrestleMania 35 because it's what we deserve. It is truly what we deserve. McIntyre needs to run this shit. It's time. Drew McIntyre is my pick to win the 2019 Men's Royal Rumble. Now, sound off below. Let me know who you think is going to win the Women's and the Men's Royal Rumble. Who do you think is going to be some sleeper picks, dark horse picks, people that are going to have a good showing but not necessarily win? I want to know everything. Let me know. Who do you think is going to start off the Rumbles? I'm excited. So with that being said, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please give it a big thumbs up as it does help me out a lot. And of course, follow me on my social media at ValenaWWE on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Bye.